The older leftover women nowadays are too competitive. The older leftover women nowadays are too competitive. Some are willing to give the man 50,000 yuan as a gift in order to get married, in addition to not having a house or a car. Some are willing to give 100,000 yuan plus 3 or 5 pieces of gold. They all have houses, cars, and savings. But what about me? I only have a rental house. What can I get? I cry. I am almost 35 years old and an older leftover woman. Now, I don't want a gift, but it's still hard to get married even if I pay for a house and a car because the men I meet think I'm too old. I can't do anything about it. It's too hard to find a partner, so I'll just live alone. There are more than 200 million single men and women in China now. Most of the leftover men are in rural areas, often due to financial difficulties and being unable to afford the cost of marriage. Most of the leftover women are in big cities. Unlike leftover men, these leftover women are often highly educated, good-looking, and part of high-income groups. Because of social wealth and class differences, these leftover men and leftover women can't get along. Today we will talk about the topic of older leftover women. Last April, Hangzhou held a blind date event for thousands of people. As a result, hundreds of women came to the scene, but there were only a handful of men, making the scene very embarrassing. Some men saw that there were so few men and simply chose to leave early. In early December last year, a blind date event was held at a 5-star hotel in Wuhan, but there were only 800 well-dressed women and no male guests showed up. The entrance fee for this blind date event in Wuhan was free for men, while each woman had to pay 3,800 yuan. The 800 women spent a total of 3,040,000 yuan, but there was not a single man. It was really a lonely date. Regarding the boys' reluctance to participate in blind dates, some netizens analyze that high-quality men don't need to go on blind dates at all, as it's easy for them to find a partner. And men in poor financial situations won't go either because they know their limitations. Women usually require men to have a house, a car, and a betrothal gift. If he doesn't have these conditions, why go on a blind date? It would only bring shame upon himself. There are many older women in big cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen. They are all high-quality women with high education, stable jobs, and good looks. However, because of their age, they find it difficult to find a partner even if they keep lowering their standards. I was born in 1988, single and unmarried. I have a master's degree and my own company. I always thought that making money on my own was an excellent achievement, but at my age, I have been frustrated in the marriage market. I can tell young girls without reservation that whether it is someone of the same age or a man younger than you, he will discriminate against your age, and this discrimination seems to be accepted by society as if you deserve it. An objective fact is that there are very few single people of your age. Perhaps your best option is to be prepared to live alone for the rest of your life. Look at the older women. They want men to spend money and provide emotional value. I feel like I found an ancestor, not a wife. Now, as long as young girls are not gold diggers, you don't have to spend much money, and young girls can still provide you with emotional value. I can accept growing old together, but I can't accept meeting an old woman. In addition, when you see that they are old, if they give birth to a child, they will still be elderly mothers. Blogger Linlin is 36 years old, unmarried, and childless. She said that she met a blind date on the internet. The man's financial conditions are very good, with an annual income of 300,000, but his appearance is relatively poor. Although Linlin knows the truth that you can't have your cake and eat it too, she still decided to break up after meeting the man twice. After meeting him twice offline in April last year, I took the initiative to tell him that we should just be ordinary friends. I felt it was not suitable for us to develop into a couple. One netizen left a message. If he were a perfect and high-quality man, he would have been taken long ago. Another netizen reminded the blogger, after marriage, his money is yours, so why think so much? In China, men usually give women gifts when getting married. The gifts in Jiangxi province are generally around 300,000 yuan and are even higher in rural areas. In southern Fujian, such as Quanzhou, Fujian province, the gifts are generally between 200,000 and 500,000 yuan, and some areas require additional conditions such as the 3 golds, gold ornaments, and real estate. Since Chinese women have relatively high requirements for economic conditions, many men have to look abroad, as foreign women do not ask for gifts, cars, or houses. In recent years, more and more foreign women have married in China. According to statistics on foreign marriages, in 2019, more than 29,000 Chinese men married foreign wives. In 2020, more than 10,000 foreign women married in China. And in 2021, this number rose to more than 27,000. Vietnamese brides are loved by Chinese men because of their gentle, virtuous, and hardworking nature, especially in Guangdong, where marrying a Vietnamese bride is not uncommon. There is a popular saying in the local area, if you can't get a wife, Vietnamese brides will come to report without gifts or houses, and they can go up to the hall and down to the kitchen. However, this Vietnamese blogger reminded Chinese men not to marry Vietnamese brides through matchmaking companies. Not only does it cost a lot of money, but the brides may also run away easily after marriage. She suggested that Chinese men travel to Vietnam and find girlfriends there instead. With a foundation of affection, they not only don't need to spend too much on gifts, but their marriages are also relatively stable. Are you too naive or too brave? Why would you spend thousands or even tens of thousands of yuan on matchmakers and matchmaking companies to help you find a Vietnamese wife? Do you know? The divorce rate in China is ridiculously high now. You marry a Chinese wife. You are from the same country and have an emotional foundation. Yet many still separate later, let alone going abroad to find a wife. You don't know her, she doesn't know you. You don't understand Vietnam, and she doesn't understand China. You were introduced by a matchmaker and got married in a hurry. Do you think such a marriage can be happy? In fact, Vietnamese girls are not all unmarried. Even if her circumstances are poor, she can still find a man of average means in Vietnam to marry. Why would she go abroad? Why would she travel so far just to marry you? She must want you to treat her well because you have good financial conditions, and she hopes you can help her. However, after marrying you, she realizes you can't help her at all. There was no emotional foundation to begin with, and now she finds out you're not good enough, so she runs away after just a few months. Do you know how hard older single women are trying to get married? There are many typical examples around me. Women who are willing to lower the bride price, lower their house requirements, or even pay a higher dowry themselves just to get married. Have you seen it? A woman messaged me saying that not asking for a bride price makes me cheap, while paying one means I'm losing money. But sister, we are not the same. You're young, beautiful, and have a great figure. Men are lining up for you. Meanwhile, I'm almost 35. If I don't offer a few $100,000 in dowry, I might never get married. Please, try to understand. Do you really want me to be alone forever? Just now, I saw a girl at Wansong Academy standing by the roadside holding a piece of paper. The information on it showed that she was 38 years old and unmarried, earning 1 million yuan annually from her own business. She had a house and a car. She required the man to be within 10 years younger than her, have a stable job, stable emotional value, and an above-average appearance. To be honest, given her own conditions, these requirements are not high. But many parents still say, who would be willing to marry such a young man? Do you think this woman's requirements are reasonable? Many netizens say that a 10-year age gap is too much, and that a 5-year difference is more acceptable at most. No matter how beautiful, how highly educated, or how independent they are, if they remain single, it means their expectations in choosing a partner are unrealistic.
China's economy continues to deteriorate. A large number of companies have closed down, the unemployment rate remains high, and young people cannot find jobs. The Chinese Communist Party authorities are helpless. Chinese economists who speak the truth are suppressed and silenced by the authorities. Recently, the punishment of Gao Shanwen, a well-known Chinese economist, has attracted public attention. Against the backdrop of continued economic decline, every field is in trouble. According to data from the China Cuisine Association, more than 1.05 million restaurants closed down in the first half of 2024, and the total number of closures for the entire year is estimated to exceed 2 million. At the same time, China's banking system has also been hit. According to data from Enterprise Early Warning, in 2024, 199 small and medium-sized banks in China were deregistered, mainly rural financial institutions, far exceeding the total from 2021 to 2023. A report by Sohu.com in August last year stated that, as of the end of 2023, nearly 700 county-level TV stations in China had stopped broadcasting or closed, and the momentum of this wave of closures is still expanding. It is understood that nearly 2,000 county-level TV stations across the country are facing closure, which means a large number of media practitioners will lose their jobs. Veteran media person Yan Chenggu recently, January 4th, posted on Facebook that the closure of TV stations also involves many film and television production companies and advertising companies that have contracted to shoot. The number of technical, promotional, and extras employed by these companies is even harder to count. The industry's ecology is in a half-dead state. Unless the consumer market suddenly picks up, the decline of the entire industry will only continue to worsen. The author said that if real estate prices continue to fall, related upstream and downstream practitioners will also lose their jobs. The sluggish financial market will also affect employment and consumption. New investment has dried up, old factories have moved away, manufacturing has overcapacity, and foreign trade has been squeezed, leaving a large number of migrant workers and urban poor with nowhere to go. Now, even the cultural education sector in the superstructure is facing a cold winter. The author believes that if the entire market continues to decline, it will remain unclear where the root cause of the economic downturn lies. The ills of today's China are all within the system. People are increasingly pessimistic about the future. The depression of all industries has caused a chain reaction. The army of unemployed is constantly expanding, and continuing down this path leads to a dead end. The author said that CCP leader Xi Jinping has been pursuing state advancement and private sector retreat, carrying forward the Feng Xiao experience, condoning local governments to investigate 10 years of taxes and deep-sea fishing, and squeezing the survival space of private enterprises. His goal has been achieved, and the entire market is indeed in mourning. Recently, Gao Shanwen, chief economist of China Investment Securities, gave a speech at the Peterson Institute for International Economics, a U.S. think tank. He was punished and banned for disclosing the real data of China's economy and angering Xi Jinping. So what did he say? The Wall Street Journal recently quoted sources saying that Gao Shanwen's two comments at the forum on December 12, 2024, angered Xi. One of the comments questioned the reliability of China's economic growth data. Gao believed that the GDP growth rate in the past 2 to 3 years was only about 2%, while the official figure was close to 5%. The other comment questioned the ability of top leaders to take measures to boost economic growth. Earlier, Zhu Hengpeng, deputy director of the Institute of Economics of the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, was detained and dismissed in September last year for criticizing Xi Jinping's management of the domestic economy in a private WeChat group. This led to the replacement of all senior executives at the institute. On January 10th this year, a commentary article in the Epoch Times stated that it is well known that the CCP is a habitual liar and is accustomed to using fake economic data to embellish its facade. Regarding the ability of the Beijing authorities to save the economy, the current ongoing economic winter is the best proof. The article argues that the more the CCP fakes, the more guilty it feels, and the more incompetent the party leader is, the more he wants to appear superior. Gao Shanwen publicly questioned the CCP's fraud and the Beijing authorities' ability to manage the economy on important international occasions, which caused the CCP to lose face and angered Xi Jinping. How could Xi not be angry and order Gao Shanwen to be silenced? The article directly pointed out that if Gao Shanwen and others are silenced and all doubts are blocked, would the Chinese economy recover? The result is likely just the opposite. Instead of recovering, the situation will only deteriorate further.